It works. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Chapter 3, Section 1, Graphing Inequalities. Inequalities. Graphing inequalities. No more equal signs. No more equal signs for this chapter. We are solving, but no more equal signs for now. Okay? It's unequal, not equal. IN. Homework tonight, it's page 171. Numbers 26 through 54 even. It's 15 problems. So if you're busy tonight, I would recommend that you get started somehow today. Find time today at school to do your homework. Either during lunch or advisory or something so that you're not worried about it tonight. Okay? You know who you are. Chapter 3 will go until next week. We will finish Chapter 3 just before Thanksgiving break. And then we'll start with Chapter 5 for the rest of the year. In a couple weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah, people, it's already 23rd. We have Christmas in 2 weeks. 2 months. Thanksgiving's in a month. Nope, not anymore. No. Alright. Now, let's define what an inequality is. Inequality. An inequality is a statement of two unequal quantities. They're not equal to each other. No equal signs. No equal signs. They're not equal to each other. What are the signs, if you're wondering? Okay, here we go. There's a lot of new things today. This first sign is called... No. Less than. Looks like an L. Left hand, less than. Left hand, less than. This is less than, not Pac-Man. It's not 5th grade anymore. Less than, left hand. Or, this is an open circle. Open circle. The other sign. Greater than. It's pointing away from 0. To the right side. When it points to the right side, on the number line, all the numbers to the right of 0, it's more than 0. This is also an open circle. Less than or equal to. 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 There's a line underneath. This is a closed circle. And the last one, nope, there's 2 more. Greater than or equal to. You'll use these notes a lot. Greater than or equal to. It's also a closed circle. Now, if you're wondering what is with the circles, that's how we're graphing. We're going to graph a lot in this chapter. There's one more. What happens if it's not equal? Or it's called? 2 words, people. No solution. Thank you. Unequal is not a word. No solution. Okay, let me move this up here. So, no solution has a slash through it. No solution. Or not equal to. Oops, hold on. Not equal. Now, so I just gave you a whole bunch of signs, and I'm going to give you now steps. Very specific steps that I made up. It works for me. It works for me, it works for you. Okay, here we go. Oh, yes. Here we go. VIDSC. V. V stands for variable. The variable. The variable now needs to be in a specific place. It needs to be to the left side of the sign. No negative variables. It must be on the left side. The sign must be on the left side. The sign is now on the left side. You have to somehow figure out a way to move the variable to the left side of the sign. D. Draw a number line. Draw a number line. 0 is the middle number. 0 is the middle number. 0 is the middle number. What does that mean? Very simple. This is how you draw a line. 0 is in the middle. V for variable, left side. D, draw a line. Draw a number line. I, include, question mark. How do we know what to include? Look at the sign. The sign is the clue. If it's less than or greater than, it is an open circle. If it's less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, it is a closed circle. And we'll talk about that in just a second, why that is. S is for shade. Shade what? Shade in the direction where the sign is pointing. Shade in the direction of where the sign is pointing. Shade in the direction of where the sign is pointing. Well, if you have a greater than or equal to sign, how do we shade? Where's it pointing, people? Where's it pointing? That's not the left.
To the right.
To the right. It's pointing to the right. It shades to the right. Less than or equal to.
Let's say 9 to 5.
To the right. Shade to the left. Points to the left. It shades to the left. You're going to dig these notes out next year for geometry, so don't lose them. They're very specific, and the book doesn't have this kind of notes. You're welcome. Does anyone have down S? I and S? This is easier than anything. Okay, and the C, who knows what C is? Close. How about check? C is for check. Sorry. What does that mean? Well, that means you substitute in a number. You sub in a number to check if it's correct. V variable, D draw. I include, S shade in, C check. Always check your work. The variable must be in the left. Draw a number line with 0 in the middle. The sign, wherever it's pointing, that's how you shade. If it's open and closed, depends on the line. And then you check your work. Let's do the first example, and then everything will come together. Okay. Example 1. Let's keep it simple. X is greater than 2. Now, again, there are no equal signs in this chapter. They don't exist. What's a number greater than 2? 3.
4.
4. 5.
1 million.
1 million, right? Those numbers, right? Well, more specifically, go down to the decimals.
2.6.
2.1, 2.6, 2.8. How about 2.0000001? Still greater, right? Now, it's all numbers. X is any number. All numbers greater than 2. So here is a variable on the right. Is it on the left side? Okay. The variable's on the left side, right? It's just writing down the steps. I. Does it include? Okay. So the sign is greater than. So what? How do we? What signs do we use? Oh, duh, I can't. Sorry. D, just kidding. D is to draw, right? So I'm going to draw a number line. I'm going to move down just a little bit here. 0's in the middle. Do you notice I put a little, like kind of a mark here and here just to note that it stops? And it's just in this example. So here, 2. 2 is to the right of 0. So we're going to be doing a lot of eyeballing. So here, this is about 2. Questions on how I got 0 and 2. Okay. So I draw a number line. I is include. What? Because this is greater than, what circle do I use? It's an open circle, right? You draw the circle like this. I'm going to zoom in really closely. Like a bullseye. The reason why the circle is open is because it's 2 greater than 2? No. That is a false statement, right? 2 is equal to 2. We don't include the shading. We don't shade in 2 because 2 cannot be an answer. Right? 2 cannot be an answer. But let's talk about the S part, shade. How do we shade? Look at the sign. Where is it pointing? Because it's pointing to the right, you shade right. This is how we shade. Just a little bit above. That's how we shade. Some teachers are not picky about it. I am very picky about this. Because if it looks like you drew with your feet, you need to redo it. Okay? So that when you go to high school, they'll be like, wow, you draw really well. Every year, I hear people come back and tell me that. Okay? Why is it shade to the right? Because all values, not including 2, is an answer. These are all possible answers. But not including 2. Anything greater than 2 is an answer, but not including 2. That's why it's an open circle. We'll talk about it in a second. C is to check. Well, let's see here. 3, yep. 4, yeah. 5, yep. 6, yep. 1, no. 0, no. It's anything more than 2, but not 2. Okay. So a good word problem would be like, let's say if, I don't know, she has $2. The least amount of money she can spend is $2. She can spend, 2 a 1, 2 a 2, 2 a 3, but she can't spend 2 or something like that. I don't know. Yes. The answer is the number line. In the work too, there's work shown, of course, but this is what I'm looking for. Okay. In the work as well. Tonight, it's one step. It's really easy. Tomorrow, it's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Do this on your own. X is less than or equal to -3. Let's hurry, please. X is less than or equal to negative 3. Okay, let's check. Is the letter on the left side? Okay. Draw a number line. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. 0 is in the middle. Negative 3 is over here on the left side. So I draw it already. I, it's less than or equal to. Or equal to. It's a closed circle. It's closed. Because it could be that number. Or equal to. S, how do we shade? Where's it pointing? Shades to the left. Shade left. Points left. Shades left. So I'll put a bullseye around 3, but this time I shade it in. Now I shade to the left of the line. Now I check it. Negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. Negative 2 is not. 0 is not. Is negative 3 an answer? Yes, it's less than or equal to. Or equal to. Or equal to. So you include negative 3. Okay, last one and we're done. Maybe. Let's go over the negative variable again. What happens when you see it? This is kind of tricky right here. What happens when you see a negative variable? Okay, you divide by negative 1. This time, this is something different. Make sure the sign, not the sign, the variable is on the left side of the sign. You divide by negative 1. This is big right here. Sign flips. The sign will flip because you're changing the value of the sign. This flips when you divide by negative 1. The sign flips when you divide by negative 1. Or when you move the variable. For example, let's talk about this. It'll make sense. Negative 4x is greater than negative 12. Negative 4x is greater than negative 12. Is the sign on the right? Yes.
What is that word? The first word?
Variable. Is the letter on the right side? Correct side. Okay, so we're good here. How do I get x by itself? Divide by negative 4. Here we divide. Because we're dividing by negative, we're dividing by a negative, we're dividing by a negative. Here, the variable stays the same. The 4 cancels out. The sign flips. Sign flips. Because you're changing the value of the entire equation. The negative really throws everything off. And then this becomes positive 3. This is what you graph. Okay, so let's graph this really, really fast. Oops. 0 in the middle. How does it open or close circle? Open. I want to see these directions. It's really simple. Open circle. Shade. Shade what? How is it pointing? No. Shade left. This is positive 3. Open circle, but shade all the way down to the left side. You cannot include 3. Negative 2, 1, 0. Everything else is an answer except for 3. Because it's an open circle. You shade where the sign is pointing. Shade where the sign is pointing. Points to the left, shades to the left. Points to the left, shades to the left. Last one, and we're done. 0 is less than or equal to negative x minus 2. There's a whole bunch of things wrong with this problem. A whole bunch. Gabby, you ready? Let's fix it. There's a whole bunch of things wrong.
X is on the one side.
Okay, so let's move the number first. Let's add 2, right? Let's fix that first. 2 is less than or equal to negative x. Ooh, that's still wrong. I still need to get x to be positive x.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I divide by negative 1, so I divide here. Now we have negative 2 is less than or equal to x. Oops, sorry. What happens to the sign? Oops, should have done this. The sign will flip. This is going to be the hardest part to flip it. It flips here because you're dividing by a negative. It flips again, Anna Carrasco, when you switch sides. X is now less than or equal to negative 2. It flips again. Because you're changing the letters. You're moving the letters back to where it should be. So whenever you divide by negative, whenever you move the letter, every time. So when you graph this, is this an open or closed circle? And a shade left or right? Shade left. I'm not done yet. So really quickly, negative 2, closed circle, shade left. Okay? So you divide by negative, sign flips. You move the letter to the left, sign flips. If the letter is already on the left side, you don't flip it. Homework tonight, please email me any questions, and I'll see you later. Bye. I'll post the lecture right now. Yes. Remind me.